92.3 Amp Radio.
Hey, what's up, Facebook Live? This is the beautiful Nina.
What's up, guys?
And this is the amazing, our awesome friend. We love it when she comes visit us, Alessia Cara.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us today on
Thank
Shoboy
you.
in the Morning. We are live on Facebook for you guys on 92.3 Amp Radio. We absolutely love it when we hear that you're like, oh, Alessia's coming through. We're like, heck yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Because you're so
I
down
like
to
coming here, too.
earth and like so real. And like we were just talking about this before we went live on Facebook, but is it ever like awkward, that moment right before the interview starts? Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like we were waiting for the Facebook Live to come on and we're just like, I mean, we're having small talk. We talked about Mario Bros. We talked about your cracked screen on your iPhone.
Yeah.
But then it's like, is it ever awkward for you?
I feel like the only time it ever gets awkward is when, you know, a lot of interviewers, even you guys were saying it, like you don't like to ask too many questions before it starts because then you like feel like you have to repeat yourselves twice. Right. So I feel like every time I talk to an interviewer before the actual interview starts, it's always like a weird small talk because they don't want to ask too many questions. So it's just like, or a lot of them will just be like, never mind, I'll just ask you that during the interview. Just don't say anything. So it's kind of like, you feel like you can't really say too much. It's always like a weird, like.
You're sitting, it's awkward tension.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, like, but no, it's actually with you guys, it's actually really chill.
All right, good.
Yeah,
I'm glad you enjoyed
It
it.
feels
Yeah,
like a
good.
conversation. It's
How
nice.
did you crack your iPhone screen?
I dropped it multiple times. This is like multiple occasions, but I was like one of those people for sure.
but how long have you been carrying it around with the cracked screen?
Too long, like months. Yeah, it's happened for. I'm one of those people that would rather like just barely be able to see through a screen and like cut my hand on the glass than change.
No, it's true. I've done that.
Yeah, like I would rather do that than go and get it fixed. I'm just too lazy.
Do you ever dedicate like scars to your beautiful to your phone?
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, you know what? You're not perfect. You're not the perfect shiny iPhone, but I still love you and you work. So
I'm not gonna leave you for an iPhone 7.
exactly.
I'm gonna
No.
stick with you.
Exactly.
It's personality, though, you know?
Yeah, it's character.
Super excited for you because last time we actually hung out with you, it was Alessia Cara's birthday.
Yeah.
Remember we got you these awesome
I
balloons
know,
and
you guys
whatnot?
are so awesome. I was wearing like weird overalls. I looked like I was 7 years old. Now I look like I'm 8 today, so it's a little bit old.
And then we went to Chuck E. Cheese afterwards.
Yeah,
It was so much fun.
Yeah.
So you're 20 now.
I'm 20, yeah.
So you're no longer a teenager.
Sad.
How's it, do you notice any difference whatsoever after you turn 20?
I mean, not really, to be honest. I just feel like I can't really come up with excuses for things anymore. Because now it's like, you can't blame it on your teen years. It's like you kind of have slightly more responsibility.
But there's a whole new set of things you can blame on being in your 20s. Like, especially once
That's
you
true,
turn
too.
21 and all that kind of stuff, there's always an excuse. I don't have to state the obvious, but you know what I'm talking
I know what
about.
you're saying, yeah.
She's like, I know what you're saying, Nina. If you need any help with those excuses, Nina will definitely come through for you.
Amazing, okay.
I have a loop on repeat.
Nice.
But what kind of excuses does she need to come up with? I mean, back then you were about to go on tour with Coldplay. And
Yeah.
then tomorrow you're performing at Radio City Music Hall for the first time.
Yeah.
Let's go one thing at a time. So Coldplay, what would you say was the most epic memory that you have as of right now?
Man, that whole tour was incredible. Oh my goodness, it was one of the best things ever. Obviously, they're the biggest, best band in the whole world, and they're like the sweetest guys. Their whole crew was amazing. It was the best experience ever. I mean, I think one of my favorite moments was something that was kind of separate from the actual shows and the tour itself. They would have these little, like the band would have these little after parties sometimes, and they would invite us to dinner. It wasn't like parties. It was like, you know, dinner and stuff. And I remember one evening, it was in, I believe it was Barcelona, and one of the crew members had a birthday party, and so Chris Martin and the band came up to me and they were like, hey, do you want to like come up with us and sing happy birthday to this girl with us? And I was like, okay, so we just improv'd it. They got all these like impromptu instruments and we sang happy birthday together. So I got to sing with them.
That's amazing.
And I mean, even though it was just singing happy birthday to someone, it was really amazing that I got to sing with them.
Did anybody get that on video so you can have that
and
forever?
they at the end of the tour, they gave me a picture of us singing together. They framed it and they gave it to me, and they're like, we thought this was cool.
They seem so nice.
They're the most chill people ever. It was so sweet.
It's a perfect fit for you. And now, what does it mean to you to be performing at Radio City Music Hall tomorrow?
It's crazy. My name has been on the marquee for a little bit, so I've been here about 2 or 3 times since. Yeah, and every time I walk by, I'm like, holy cow, or drive by. It's just, my name's up there. It's crazy.
Every time she walks by or drives by, which is like all the time, she's like, oh, I'm here again.
I just happened to be here again. It's crazy.
Oh, let me take another selfie.
Yeah.
Girl in the hoodie suspiciously just standing there.
That's why her
I was sitting
iPhone.
outside it today, actually. I was just sitting there, like, beside the
First
sign.
in line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I took a video saying.
So what do you think about, though? Like, when you take those kind of moments to yourself to just sit there, is there anything that kind of runs through your head, either getting yourself psyched up for what you're going to do tomorrow, or even everything that's led up to this point? Like, do you have like a mantra or something that you think about?
I mean, I guess like in terms of just like, do you mean in terms of just like getting ready for a show? Do I have something that?
No, but like for you to be sitting outside of Radio City Music Hall, right? Your
Yeah.
name is up on the marquee, and this morning you said you were just sitting there. Were you doing that to be funny, or did you kind of just take a second and like let it all
guess-
sink in?
I mean, I guess it's hard to say because half the time I'm like, half the time I kind of have those moments where I take it in, and then another half, like the other half, is just like floating above myself, kind of going through it, and it's so surreal that it almost doesn't feel real. So it's even hard to prepare myself for these things because like half of it doesn't feel real, and then it's very strange to describe. And every time I get asked that question, I never know how to word it because it doesn't even feel like it's real yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I totally believe it because especially you being such a humble person and down to earth, like you want to believe in it. It's like, yeah, it's super cool. My name is up on this marquee. But at the same time, it's like, yo, but you're super grateful. You're super thankful. And it's all about your fans, you know? And that's what we appreciate the most out of you, you know? And
Thank you.
So make sure you hang out with her at Radio City Music Hall. We're actually giving you tickets right now live with Nico.
True.
On 92.3 Amp Radio right now as you listen. So we just hit October. Is there anything in regards to Halloween that like freaks you out?
Yeah, okay. Have you guys heard of these clowns appearing all over the world?
You heard about it already?
Oh,
Yes.
absolutely, I
Look,
have.
we've had a few here in the tri-state. It's the scariest thing ever.
I'm terrified of clowns. So this is, of course, right when I start my U.S. tour, there's just clowns appearing in various parts of the U.S. Like, it's amazing. I'm terrified of clowns, especially like these ones, because they're evil ones. They're not even good clowns.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
had to shut down a couple of schools in New Jersey, also on Long
it's
Island.
very terrifying. I don't
because
know
of these
what
threats.
I don't know what it is. I thought initially that it might have been like just really good marketing for maybe like a movie or
Right,
something.
because I think that's what they did before when these clowns were popping up. Now it's like even more of a serious thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Have there actually been incidents where they've hurt, like actually done things, or is it just threats, like empty
Producer
threats?
Kristen, who knows all about our news, have you heard of an incident where actually a clown hurt somebody?
Threat.
It's all
It's all just
social-
threats. See, that's why
it's
I
all
feel like
threats.
it might be like marketing for something. Because if no one actually did anything, but still, I'm not.
and we don't know
No, I'm
all
not
the
messing with
clown
clowns.
sightings.
Forget about it.
But it's just scary in the day and age that we're living right now for this to be going down. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, aside from that, I'm freaked out of clowns too because when I was younger, I would have these nightmares where clowns would come to me while I'm sleeping, tickle me, till I couldn't stop, like they wouldn't stop, and I couldn't
says
breathe. You know when you
that?
laugh so much,
Yeah, you can- yeah.
run out of breath,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't stop, Alessia. The clowns just kept going. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
terrifying.
And
Like
so-
tickling itself is already a nightmare.
Yeah.
To me.
You
Imagine-
guys.
Yeah. No, it's not fun.
For real, so never tickle me like that. So Nina was talking about it this morning that like the nice clowns and the good clowns
They need to fight.
should rise up against the evil clowns with balloon animals and destroy the bad
Ooh.
clowns.
I agree.
I mean, if there's a time where we're talking about evil clowns actually existing, you know, this is the time when the other side needs to be like, good will prevail. It's so silly, but also very messed up.
It's true. I mean, clowns themselves. Yeah. If it's already messed up, just might as well make it even weirder, right?
I know, right?
All right, good. I'm glad we talked about clowns.
Yeah, me too. Well, am I? I don't know if I am.
I don't know.
It's
Yeah,
kind of scary.
Halloween though.
Yes.
What was your most epic costume you ever had?
Ooh.
That you're like, oh, I was proud of that one. That was good.
I've had a couple good ones. But
I bet you have.
I was the Mad Hatter one year, which was pretty awesome. I was. Do you know who Rosie the Riveter is? The American icon.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh,
I was
yeah,
that.
yes,
And everyone thought like they couldn't tell what I was. But yeah,
You got to pose, that's why.
yeah, you
like
have to
every
do the thing.
time.
Except the
Mhm.
history teachers, they like props me, but everyone else was like, "What are you?"
We get it, Alessia. We get it.
I was also an old lady one year.
Oh my gosh, that must have been scary.
It was pretty amazing. It was.
How did you
awesome.
make the
Makeup?
wrinkles and all that stuff?
I just like did it with makeup, and then I just put baby powder on my head, like tons of baby powder to make my hair white, and then I just, put on the whole thing.
I bet everybody loved hugging you that night. Getting
Yeah, I
baby
know. It
powder
smell- yeah.
all over 'em.
I
You
know.
smell good?
It smelled good at least. Yeah.
You brought up your teachers, and I know that there's a campaign that's going to be kicking off in January called #IDecide, and it has nothing to do with politics. It's not about
Or clowns, we're
it's
good.
well, even though there are some clown stuff going on in politics right now,
yeah.
right? But it's not that kind of clowning. But this is actually something really awesome, really important. And your song and most of your music speaks to this. But it's I Decide, and it's talking about a campaign against anti-bullying. And thank you so much for supporting this. But it's in regards to people saying, you know what, hashtag I decide to no longer allow bullies to have power over my happiness and power over if I'm at peace or not with myself and my body image or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Were you ever bullied in school, and what was it for? I think because we've all been bullied. We've all been there.
Yeah, we've all been, of course, whether it's like physical or just like emotional. There are so many different forms of bullying. And I think just me personally, thankfully, I was never like physically bullied or even, I mean, it wasn't even a direct type of bullying. I think I just always felt isolated, and people always made me feel isolated my whole life. Every time I'd like try to join groups, they would always kind of give me like that weird side eye. I've always just felt like I was disconnected from everybody, to the point where I would just spend like recess by myself sometimes and just kind of always be alone. And I'd cry to my mom all the time, like, oh, what's wrong with me? Like, where do I fit in the world? I never knew where I fit, right? And that's something I've always dealt with. And I think the reason why I Decide is actually really important is because I think a lot of it does come from you, and you decide, you know, where you fit in the world, and you decide your place, and you decide if people are going to get to you or not. It comes from you, and if you don't let them, then they can do whatever they want. But if you are strong within yourself to say, like, you don't bother me, and I know who I am, then that's all that matters.
Thank you for sharing that. And now you're spending your recess time and lunchtime with Coldplay.
Yeah, so
Big
exactly.
She found her place.
Yeah.
She's at the big girls table.
Yes.
I think we've all been through there. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I have some pretty big teeth. And this is the size my teeth were when I was like in elementary and middle school. It's not like they were smaller.
Oh my
and
God.
so,
I never even noticed that. I didn't even notice you have big teeth.
oh, thank you.
They
Alessia.
actually are very nice and white, way better than mine. My teeth are not.
He's got a nice smile.
Thank you, Nina.
do.
It's your little hands that are more striking.
See this big bully right here? My little hands. She always makes fun of my little hands and stuff.
I
But
never even noticed that either, until you
will
pointed it out.
now.
if my hands are the same size as Alessia Cara's, I have it. Oh my gosh!
But no, but I have long fingers. My fingers are like
Alessia,
abnormally
No,
long.
you have nice fingers. Yours
No, I
fit
don't.
you.
I have like weird alien fingers.
they come in handy. They come in handy because like when you lose like coins inside in the middle of the couch, or you lose your cell phone
See?
in between the seat and like the little center console in your car.
Yeah.
My hands come
You're
through every
winning.
time.
See? Exactly.
But
There
it makes
go.
you who you are.
Thank
That's
you. Nina.
why.
No, but that's really what it's about. It's about accepting it and having a good sense of humor of it and moving on from that situation. On a serious note, like I remember when I first immigrated here from Mexico, we moved into a neighborhood, and I was like probably like 8 years old or so. And there was a group of kids that weren't Hispanic or Latino, and I remember it was like summertime, and they grabbed a hose and they poured water on me, right? On my backside. And they're like, hey, you're a wetback.
No.
Meaning that's a derogatory term for a Mexican immigrant that crossed over. And I had no idea what this meant. Like, I had no idea. And I was like, yeah, I guess my
Like,
back
literally.
is wet or whatever. But like later on, I found out that they were making fun of me or whatnot. But I think during those times, I think just knowing that these bullies were unhappy with something within themselves, and that's why they were trying to make me feel bad about myself. And I think when I realized that it wasn't my problem, but it was their problem, I think that helped me become my own and become proud of my heritage, which I always have been thanks to my parents and whatnot, but proud of who I am and accept myself and appreciate the blessings that God has given me, you know? So I think this I Decide campaign is so cool because you decide to take that power away from the bullies.
Well, it's even more important now too, though, I think, with social media, because that's a whole new dimension of bullying, and that's something that you do a lot with, is, you know, the social media stuff, and even the videos that you've been making with the girls, you know, trying to find things about them that they feel is beautiful and letting the world know through social media and stuff like that. It's just about taking the power back.
Yeah, no, it is. It's true. I feel like social media is such a big thing, and you can use it either for great things or horrible things. So we just got to try to, you know, steer away from all the negativity, because there's a lot of it, you know?
Absolutely. And what also makes me really happy is eating tacos.
Oh, yeah.
That's not stereotypical
Carne
at all.
asada tacos are my
Oh my
favorite.
gosh, can you say carne asada again?
Carne asada.
Ooh, she's got it though.
Alessia.
The R roll. Because it's for the Italian side. That's
That's
why I
where
can
it's
roll
at.
my
You can
R's.
do
Some
it.
people can't do it. I take pride in the being able to roll my R's.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Do you have carne asada tacos in Canada?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure,
sure
you have them
they
anywhere.
do.
I'm
You
sure.
never know. I
Yeah,
don't know if we've
I'm
made it that
sure.
far.
sure. No, I think we've. Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
This guy.
Is there anything else that you would like to say to your fans that love you, that support you every day?
Yeah. Thank you for supporting me every day. Thank you for allowing me to do what I do and to be here and speak my mind and, you know, have a voice for all of you, you know, and not only for myself, but literally for all of you. And just thank you for liking my music.
Radio City Music Hall. Tomorrow, Alessia Cara, you're going to be
Yeah.
joined with some friends.
Yes, Nathan Sykes and Ruth B. They're amazing.
Also humble people. And we hung out
They
with Nathan
are.
Sykes. We did a shopping spree with him
Really?
for 10 different families and their kids.
Oh, that's awesome.
Super humble. He was super excited about going on tour with you. by the
Really,
way.
he's amazing. He just sang with me, what was it, yesterday? No, the day before yesterday
Yeah.
on stage. He's so good.
Do you ever catch yourself, like Nathan Sykes is great, he's got a powerful voice, but when you look at him before you hear him sing, like you don't expect that voice to come out of that
especially
guy.
because he's not that tall,
Yeah, you're
right?
like, whoa.
That's what, yeah, like it's. I think a lot of short people get underestimated because you don't assume. But short people probably
Yes,
have
we
the
do.
biggest voices. I'm not talking about myself. I'm
But
talking
you
about
do
every
have a
other
big voice too.
And he's got like,
Maybe I don't think my voice is like. I don't think I necessarily have like a powerful singing voice, but he does. He was like belting, and he sounds.
he's got like
incredible.
soul.
Yeah,
like
he
R&B
does.
style,
He
right?
does. It's incredible.
It's super cool. So don't miss out from the Radio City Music Hall tomorrow. Win your tickets now by listening to 92.3 AMP Radio FM here in New York City, Jersey, and Connecticut. Thank you, Alessia, for being with us. We
Thank
love
you.
it every time you come.
Yes,
I love
we
being here.
do.
Thank you.
And let's go hang out and defeat those evil clowns.
Yes.
Yes.